Hey everyone, welcome to the Raw Reset. I'm Amber, and if you're new here, welcome. I'm on a journey to lose 100 pounds utilizing the raw food lifestyle. Now, today's video is going to be all about mayo. I wanted to create 3 different recipes based on conventional mayos that we're all probably very familiar with. Now, these are obviously going to be much healthier versions of those conventional mayos. And I also wanted to do a couple different recipes without nuts for those that cannot eat nuts. Now, our first recipe will include nuts, so you can go ahead and move forward to the timestamps I've created for recipes 2 and 3 that do not include nuts if you do not eat them. So without further ado, let's get started on mayo number 1. Okay guys, so for our first recipe, this one's going to be based on Best Foods, or also known as Hellmann's. I think it's called Hellmann's mayo in the east side of the United States, and it's called Best Foods in the west coast or west side of the United States. So this recipe is so easy. We're just going to add the ingredients to a little NutriCup, super easy. The first thing you're going to need is a half a cup of raw cashews that have been soaked. These have been soaked overnight, so they're very soft and they'll be extremely creamy in this recipe. So we're going to go ahead and add those to our little Ninja cup that I have here. This is 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. This is 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. Now that was exactly a half a lemon for me. We're going to need 1 teaspoon of agave syrup. You're going to need a half a teaspoon of salt. One-fourth teaspoon of garlic powder. And 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder. And last but not least, a half a cup of water. Now this might be a little too much water, so you might have to start just with a little bit and then go from there. So we want it creamy and mayo consistency. So that's about what I'm going for there. I might need just a touch more. So there we go. That was maybe just a tablespoon of water that I added. So what's next is to just buzz it up until it reaches a creamy mayo consistency.
Okay, let's go.
Now this looks pretty good. I'm going to give it a taste and see if it needs any adjustment for salt. All right, I'm going to add a little bit more salt. Just a tiny pinch. And a tad more water. All right, that's very creamy mayo-like. Give it a taste. All right, now that's pretty tangy. It's really good, but it's very tangy. So I'm going to add a little bit more agave syrup. Now, if it gets too runny, you can add a little bit more cashews as well. So I'm going to add about another teaspoon of agave just to tame down that tanginess. All right, definitely the perfect consistency that we're looking for. Super creamy. Mayo looks just like mayo. Give it a taste. Now that's perfect. So again, if your mayo turns out too tangy, or if the lemon is just, way sour, you can always add a little bit more agave syrup or you can always add a couple more cashews too if it's too thin to make it thicker. So this is a perfect mayo for any kind of wrap, or you could use it as a base for a salad dressing even. This mayo is super good, and I use these little ball jars with the little caps on them to store the mayo in. All right, and so this gives you an idea of how much that made. Using the half cup of cashews, you can always double the recipe, and it should about fill the jar completely full. It gives you an idea. Now this should store in the fridge. I've stored it in there for about a week and it's been totally fine. So I'm going to give it a week in the fridge. Should be good. Okay, on to recipe number 2. Okay guys, so this recipe is based on the conventional Miracle Whip type mayo. And we're not using nuts in this recipe. We're going to be using 1 cup of sunflower seeds. And it's very easy. We're just going to add the ingredients to a little NutriBullet or Ninja cup. So the ingredients we're going to need are 1 cup of soaked sunflower seeds. Just add those in like that. 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. We need a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. We need a 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder. We need a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, so I'm just going to use a little pinch. 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard. One tablespoon of agave. And we're going to do a pinch of turmeric, just for color. And then a little bit of water so we can reach a mayo consistency. And I'm not going to start with a ton of water. So that was maybe a tablespoonful of water. It's still pretty clumpy, as you can see. That's really good. It needs a little bit more salt and a little bit more water. As you can see, that's pretty thick. All right, let's take a look at it now. All right, and you can see it's nice and creamy now. Smooth consistency, that's what we're looking for. I'm going to give it a little taste and just make sure it's tasting all right. And that's very good. All right, so I'm going to put it in a little jar. And you can see how much this one made. It filled up an entire small ball jar there. And I keep this in the fridge. It should keep for about a week. I haven't tried to keep it for longer than that, but this one turned out delicious. All right, so let's get started on our very last recipe, recipe number 3, based on Duke's mayo. So for our final recipe, this mayo is inspired by Duke's style mayo, which is pretty egg forward. So we're gonna include something that helps with that flavor. And it works the same as the other ones. We're just going to put it all in a little bullet mixer and mix it around. So we're going to start with a 1/2 cup of hemp seeds. We have a 1/2 cup of zucchini. Now this has been peeled, and this was exactly half of a zucchini, a smaller zucchini. So we're going to put that in there. We have 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. And we have 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. We need some sea salt. And I'm going to add a pinch of that because we can always add more later if it needs it. We need a 4th tablespoon of granulated garlic or garlic powder. We need a 4th tablespoon of onion powder. We need a 1/2 teaspoon of nutritional yeast. Now this is going to help us with the eggy type flavor. You can also add black salt if you want it super eggy tasting. Black salt to me is a little bit too overwhelming, too powerful, even adding just a little bit. So I'm using the nutritional yeast. You can use black salt if you want that type of flavor or a little bit more eggy flavor. So a 1/2 teaspoon of nutritional yeast. And then we're going to do 1 teaspoon of olive oil. Now, if you don't do oil, you can omit this. That's fine. You want it for the creaminess. So this is 1 teaspoon. And then we have 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard. And then we need a little bit of water, just a little bit. That zucchini is going to add quite a bit of moisture to this. So we're going to start with just a little bit, maybe just a little bit more. So just a tiny bit of water to start, and then you can obviously always add more water to get it going. So we'll give this a buzz up here.
Let's go.
That's really good. So it looks like it doesn't need much more water here. So I'm just gonna keep buzzing it till it gets a little more creamy, a little bit more combined. Super creamy. Super tasty. All right, I'm going to jar this up and show you how much this made. So it looks like this is probably going to fill a jar as well as the last one did. So I've jarred this up, and now you know that it fills a jar. Again, this should probably keep for about a week in the fridge. This recipe turned out absolutely delicious. So there you guys have it. 3 super awesome mayo recipes that I hope you guys will absolutely love. Please let me know in the comments below if you try one of the recipes or all 3. Now for lunch, I've made an awesome wrap and some kale chips. Comment kale chips below if you would like to see that recipe. And sometimes, you guys, all you need is a little bit of mayo to stay on track eating raw. It reminds us of the comfort stuff that we used to have or used to eat, but it's so much healthier. So sometimes all you need is a little mayo to keep going. And if you're just beginning on this journey, or if you're curious about going raw, please download my Raw Reset free beginner guide below. It will help answer a lot of your questions about getting started on this lifestyle. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a taste. This one is the Miracle Whip version, and all of them are delicious, I think. So let me know your favorite when you guys try them. Dynamite. You guys, that is so good. And you can even put some on a kale chip. I hope you guys absolutely love this video. If you do, give it a big thumbs up for me. I greatly appreciate it. And once again, thank you so much for supporting my channel and for being here. All right, guys, I will see you on the next video. God bless you.